ready to crank them up. Let's get going. Time to race. Time to, this is what everybody's been waiting for, and it's Daytona.
Well, I think that's what's more important. I mean, everybody saw the race the other week out there at the LA Coliseum, but this is really the kickoff for all three series. I mean, the big three series I'm talking about as far as the Craftsman Truck Series is concerned, the Xfinity Series, and obviously the Cup Series. So everybody's really, I think, energized and up on the edge of the seats waiting to see some high-speed racing, not slow speed, but high-speed racing at Daytona.
Well, and John Roberts, the guy that did pick Trevor Bayne to win the year that he won the race.
What?
Still living on that.
I think
Still
you got
living on.
lucky. I think you cheated.
Nope, you do one thing right, guys. Hey, I tell you what, though, take the first day of school, take the first day of football practice in the summertime. This is the time when hope springs eternal. Everybody's got a clean slate. Everybody's got a new, clean uniform. Everybody has the hopes that are there that they can go out and make a name for themselves. Expectations are so high, nothing's guaranteed, but at least you have that hope right now. This is the time of year when you really can look forward to something, and that's what just makes it so exciting. But also, guys, it doesn't really matter if you're a driver, crew chief, crew member, media member. Everything's a fresh, clean slate, and it's just so much fun right now at this point in time.
The word you're looking for, everybody believes.
Yep.
You believe that you can climb Mount Everest, you might say. You can be at the top of the heap at the end of the year.
Well, JR, when we used to have the media tour, people used to keep count how many times people said excited.
Yeah, and that really is the word, because, guys, if you've ever been there, I used to make such a point when we finished up our little pre-race show to get down on the grid at Daytona as fast as possible, because that grid for the 500, there's celebrities walking around there. The drivers are there so excited. There's really no season opener like this. Opening day in baseball is cool. The first NFL game is cool, but there is no season opener like the Daytona 500, because you start out with the big one, man. You start out with the one everybody wants, and then, it's not an insult to Daytona to say that the regular season really starts afterwards. It's a compliment to Daytona that it's so big and such a spectacle that there's nothing really like it, and it's almost a little start of the season in and of its own.
I like the word right now that I'm kind of throwing out there a lot, because I'm like you, John Roberts, excitement. Well, how about energized? Mm-hmm. I'm energized because I've been kind of slacking around and just trying to get ready to go. And what's driving me is the energy and the enthusiasm that is being brought out, because I'm looking for that excitement at the end of the tunnel. But I'm energized right now because it is a fresh start to a new season. And so many things are changed. I mean, you got to look at the fact that your opening comments, Toyota and Ford, they got new noses, and a lot of different people in a lot of different places. I mean, we've got a lot of teams that are looking to get energized. They're looking for some redemption, and they're also looking for restructure.
Well, you talked about standing on the grid on race day, John, and it's such a paradox, because there is such excitement because it's the Daytona 500, and yet, because we all expect at some point during the race there's going to be the big one, there is, and I don't think it's quite as bad as it is at Talladega, but there is still tremendous anxiety there too.
I believe so. I think there's a lot of butterflies, and even the great Mark Martin. I remember a lot of race car drivers have probably been asked this same question, but I like the way Mark Martin put it one time. Somebody said, hey, man, you've done this so many times. You've started so many cup races. You've won so much in your career. Do you still feel those butterflies when you start any race, much less a Daytona 500? And Mark said, look, if you don't, you're in the wrong profession. He said, I'm always nervous before a race, especially the Daytona 500. The anxiety is there no matter how long you've done it. And I think Jeff said a really good word a second ago. Jeff, you said tunnel. I don't think any man, woman, or child that has driven through that tunnel at Daytona has not felt that rush of excitement to begin with. But then, man, for these drivers to get behind the wheel, all the hoopla, all the pageantry that is the Daytona 500, that they often tell us that once you get in that little cocoon, once you get in your happy place, that you tune out the world, and then you start thinking about winning this amazingly prestigious race. But that is your little happy place right there. But leading up to it, man, you got butterflies in your stomach, or you're in the wrong profession.
Bingo. You're right. You hit the nail right on the head, John. And I think when you go one step further, if you get these guys to be honest with you, how many of them have been laying at bed at night, running the last 5 or 6 laps, or running that final lap and figuring out, where I am and where is it going to happen? Am I deep in the field looking to get to the front, or am I leading the pack? And, as we come off of turn 4, where am I blocking? Who am I listening to on the radio? Am I listening to my spotter? Am I listening to my conscience inside my helmet? I mean, what is it that's going to get me? Am I going to wake up having a nightmare because I crashed right there coming to the start-finish line? Or am I going to wake up and I'm in victory lane, lifting the trophy and thinking, this is the way I want to start my season out? And, you keep, bringing up the Mark Martin analogy. I've always said and contended, and Mark and I'm a little older than Mark, so I may have this on him. It's the day that I don't get jumping out of my skin when I hear the national anthem and Gentlemen Start Your Engines. It's time for me to get the rocking chair and get it oiled up, because that's where I belong.
No, I tell people all the time, and John, I know you probably feel the same way. It's just, to me, that moment, and then not when they fire the engines, but when they take the green flag, and you feel that surge of power, and standing there on pit road, JR, you know this, you can feel it in your feet. Mm-hmm. You can feel that power, and it just, as many races as I've worked, you still get that, oh.
Yeah, again, guys, I remember the first one. Okay, I'll go ahead and admit it. My first Daytona 500 was 1992, and you don't really know. I mean, TV does a wonderful job. Our TV partners do a fantastic job in bringing it home, unless you're standing there. And that's why we talk so much throughout the season about getting butts in seats at racetracks, how important that really is, because that's, I think, when you get the fan. That's when the fan really feels what this is all about, because you see it on TV, and it looks really cool. When you're standing there at Daytona for that first lap of the season, when they take off the first time, and you guys know this, it gets real quiet, because they're way on the backstretch of this huge racetrack. And then here comes this 200-mile-an-hour freight train. Once they get up to full speed around, it knocks you off your feet. It's a feeling of it's through your bones. And that's when you know a true race fan knows it. Or even, hey, you don't even really have to be a true race fan. That's going to get your blood pumping if you have a heart. And if you don't, again, you're probably in the wrong place, because, man, this is so exciting, that first lap at Daytona.
I wish we had made a bet early on when we started using that word, and you brought it up, exciting, because you've already used it twice, Brett, and he's already done the same thing. And I'm doing everything I possibly can to keep him using that word, just to see if I could beat you guys and get some of your money, because it's so
right. It's
true.
all right. Harold and David are doing a drinking game in the control room, so we're okay.
Wait a minute, I want to go join them. I think that's more fun. I like making money off y'all, but I may enjoy the drinking game more. But you're right about that. And I think the one other analogy you don't want to leave on the table is for all those fans in the front grandstand, is when they're coming off down through turn 3 and making that rotation in the middle of 3 and 4, headed back into the tri-oval area, is the drone. I mean, race cars, they got a load growl to them or something coming at you. And then when they go by you, it's like the lion has really roared, as they go by you, and they shake you, and they shake your insides from the inside out, not the outside in, the inside out.